Hello and welcome back. Today we'll be assembling the hammer assembly for the Wall Part 2, my 4.5 pound shuffling beetle weight robot. We'll move on to the arm. This is the weapon arm of the robot. It's 3/8 inch thick UHMW and has a 3D printed nylon gear for transferring power to it. It's a 2-to-1 ratio roughly. Actually, I think it is 2-to-1 exactly. It's a 24 tooth gear mated to a 12 tooth gear for translation of power for the arm. It has cutouts here for wiring for more effectively managing the wires to the weapon arm. This is more of a strike point style hammer saw rather than like a Sawblaze or Megatron style, where the weapon wires are pretty exposed throughout this thing, so to try and make them less at risk of getting sniped or destroyed, they get woven in. I did see on Endpoint that he drilled through the entire arm, like down the length of it, and I thought that was very cool, but unfortunately this arm is not thick enough for that. Let's keep that up there. Moving on to the weapon assembly. This is a Repeat Robotics 2822 1800 kV motor with a 100% infill nylon hub attached to it. Now that hub is a 3-inch, like 75 gram AR500 disc. It's got an effective diameter of 4 inches, just to the offsetness of it. It's got a solid tooth that's been pretty destructive when it comes down on the opponent's head. I would not want to be anywhere near that when it does. That just mates to this pattern up here. These patterns, as you can see, are not the same because I haven't updated this arm yet. But this is normally was made for a old drone motor, like a 2207 or something like that. But I've changed the motor just for durability. I'm hoping to get more durability to the solid shaft here. Hopefully it's a solid shaft. But that's the hope. Just goes right on there. Let's get some screws and screw it right on. The arm is not threaded, just screws right onto the weapon motor itself. Get it in frame. Get the pattern lined up. Just screws right onto there. Very simple, very effective. But due to that simplicity and effectiveness, trades durability. I have looked into using a Just Cause hub motor for that. But it's only supported by one side. And right after I finished designing this version, Peter re-released his 1 pound battle ready hub motor. That looks very promising, but I didn't want to completely redesign my weapon disc around it, and I already had bought the motor. So maybe for the next version, we'll try that. Could be fun. Could be more durable. That's basically the whole goal of this iteration, is just increasing durability. So I've brought the weapon wires to this side, and then we'll take the extension over here and just plug it in. I haven't marked these with correct which one goes where, but I can always just swap it around, and so they get this spinning in the correct direction. That is pretty much all for the weapon arm, so we're going to move on to the uprights next. Put this on here. Moving on to the uprights. Here they are. They are TPU, 40% infill, gyroid infill, with about 4 walls, I believe. These ones look like 6 actually. These might be the 6 wall ones I experimented with. The goal was to have them be a little bit flexible to get the arm, when it throws, to stretch away from these gears a little bit. It didn't really work out for this version, but maybe the next one. Inside this side of the upright, There is a repeat max mated to a BaneBots T40 hub to keep it from stripping, because I had that issue with the first couple versions of this whole assembly. But this one has not had that issue. I like it a lot. On that is a nylon gear. This is Alloy 910. And that just is press fitted right on there. In this side of the weapon arm, well, not the weapon arm, the uprights, goes a single little bearing. It's a 6mm inner diameter bearing, 10mm OD, I believe. That just goes and slides right on there. But first, we're going to throw the hammer arm in here. So if we're going to take this bolt, say M5 35mm bolt, I believe, and that just goes right in there. Then next we're going to put a washer, as well as 2 bearings. These bearings are definitely not needed and probably going to get cut for the next revision. But before I was using a TPU arm, experimenting with it. Did not keep that. UHMW is much better for this purpose. But the bearings remained. That just stays right on there. Then the other side sandwiches them together. But first, we probably should put that washer in there. Then that comes right on. Then we take a nylock nut and just thread that right on there. And lose it. Thread that right on there. So we'll install some thread locker left in it, so it's a bit tight. So I'm gonna take my 2 drivers, just tighten that right up. Don't want it to have too tight, or else you'll get this situation where it doesn't want to move too freely. In this case, it's pretty good. But you can loosen a little bit forward too, just a little tiny bit. And there we have it. There's that. Next we're going to take to this side of the upright. Right here is where the power switch mounts to. This is a link switch with 2 wires, because I like to have a little bit of modularity in all my power systems. I like connectors everywhere. It's probably not good for durability, but if you tape them, I've found it's fine, and it makes repairing it so much nicer. Alright, I've gone ahead and attached the power switch. Just uses small M2 screws threaded into the TPU. They work fine, they hold it on just fine. This isn't taking any direct hits, hopefully. And if it does, I think the robot's already dead, so I don't think that matters. I've also taken the initiative to attach this piece of plastic over here. It's just a small barrier that prevents any of the spaghetti in the wires, that would be all about in here, from touching this motor can. I had an issue in a fight where some of the wires had gotten jammed or started rubbing against the motor can, and the motor couldn't overcome the friction, didn't have enough torque to throw the arm. So it was just a dead upside down robot, couldn't self-right. And here we have the full weapon assembly. This is what it looks like all together. Thank you for watching, and make sure to join in on the next part, where I'll be putting the entire robot together. Thank you.